Eynolwaden. Joy. Interviews, Quebec. June 11, 2019. Eynolwaden transports you with joy. Joy is freedom and freedom is joy. And laughter and smiles can only be agape's joy. Beyond any form, element or definition, you're invited to the dance of smiling, which is also that dance of silence. I come to invite you to joy that never stops, that has no beginning or end, that does not depend on any circumstance, and, above all, that cannot be hindered by any suffering. That is now. So I have come to invite you, I have come to share in you this great joy, the joy that depends on nothing, neither you nor on any other, but simply because it is part of your heritage and your nature, because it is part of who you really are, and which through this body can only be expressed through this joy, whatever the problems, whatever the circumstances may be. And in this joy, and in this freedom, you find yourself, totally and entirely. In this, your eyes communicate, your laughter communicates, without words or with words, singing or in silence. You're invited, every minute and every breath, to rediscover this freedom. Freedom is joy, joy is freedom, the one that does not need to be sought, the one that does not need to be found. For she has sought you and found you, from the moment you accept. So, you who are within this form, apparently limited by this form, apparently limited, you have to forget that. Let yourself be discovered, let yourself be lived by joy and freedom. You have nothing to do, you have nothing to be more than you can believe. Only there, in this moment, only there, through this body, this character, this story, freedom is there. Look at her, it is inside you, in the middle of your chest, it is there. It only asks to manifest itself, right here, in the heart of the dream, of this last dream. Listen to me, but above all, listen. Hear the song of freedom, the one that includes all the notes, all the sounds and all the silences, all the intervals. That's all there is to it. Then, freedom and joy consume you in the fire of joy, in the fire of the sacred heart that sets your body on fire, you had simply forgotten. And today, I can be with you, because I am you, in another time and space, converging here, in the middle of every heart, in the middle of every body. I am the same liveness, I am the same evidence of dancing, the evidence of smiling, the evidence of the radiance of your gaze, of your dancing heart, and of your body, whatever its condition. Because joy covers everything, and freedom accepts no constraints and no limits. So is your body, if you accept it, in its entirety. So listen to me carefully. What I have to say to you is banal, in words, but so true in what you are given to live, without breaks, without limits, without conditions, without particular circumstances. Just be where I am, because I am where you are, right now and from this moment. Listen to me. I invite you, as you invited me. Ignoring all the circumstances, ignoring all the suffering that has gone on, I am the balm, the one of reparation, the one of restoring the truth, which depends on nothing, neither you nor on anyone else. I invite you to this freedom, not to disappear from this world, but to manifest what you really are, beyond any condition, as long as you accept that the conditions of this world are not your conditions. You are without conditions and without conditioning, your freedom. Whatever you still think, even if it seems so distant to you, it has never been so close, it has never been so present as now, there, right now, if you wish it, if it is your only desire, the ultimate thirst, which will be satisfied forever. So, I invite you to dance, I invite you to silence, I invite you to everything that passes by and goes beyond you, in order to be overcome by yourselves, by what cannot be contained by your form, and yet emanates from the form, within its limits, within your stories, within your sufferings, within everything that seemed to limit you, to restrain you. All this still exists only in your memory, all this still exists only through your habits. Forget all that, look inside you, I'm here. And I invite you in every circumstance, precisely so that you will no longer be dependent on these circumstances, so that you will never again be in need of anything. There is the only possible fullness, the one that puts an end to all chains, all dreams and all illusions, and that takes you to all spaces and all times, not depending on any time and any space, and you find yourself, and we find ourselves. Then, the dance of the One can manifest itself in silence, as in every action you take, in every gesture your body makes, in every thought that touches your head or heart. It makes no difference, because joy and freedom are there to cover everything, to appease everything and to transmute everything, so that nothing remains of history, so that nothing remains of density, so that nothing remains of density, so that no law enslaves you to any function, any role, or any form. I am the formless and I am all forms. So you are, and so you live it. So, listen to me. Listen. Not my words, not what your body is telling you right now. Just let joy merge, just let freedom possess you in its entirety, because freedom has nothing, and you need to be possessed by that freedom, because you are freedom. Then, at that moment, you will lay down all the weapons, your claims, your doubts, your questions, and everything that may have passed, and everything that may still pass, and that still seems, apparently, in the appearances of this world, to limit you. You're unlimited, in totality. Your joy, which depends on nothing. Your freedom. Whatever this body tells you, what your loved ones tell you and what this world tells you, do not listen to those who still want to make you dream of suffering, those who still want to make you dream of the illusion of form and evolution. Your freedom and joy, your agape. Cetaceans have sung to you, cetaceans have delivered it to you, Ebba has told you, the elders, the stars, the whole creation sings that it is a dream and that this dream is the most beautiful of dreams. Whatever the suffering, whatever it has been through, whatever it has been through. I invite you to be the stream, I invite you to be the air that circulates and rushes in the trees, I invite you to be the fire that crackles in the hearth of the fireplace, I invite you to be this fire that emanates from you, from your heart as in every part. I invite you to be freedom, because you can only be that, whatever you think you are, whatever you think you are limited, whatever your body tells you, whatever your eyes tell you, whatever your senses tell you, whatever anyone tells you or whatever. I invite you to join me. I am the invitation. I am lightness, I am from everywhere and nowhere, I am nothing and I am everything, and that no longer means anything, because nothing and everything are the same thing. You, pilgrims of eternity, have traveled all over the place. You have worked in the creative workshops. The workshops of creation are nothing more than the dream you decided to play, to test time and space, to test form and lack, to reassure yourself and yes, to prove to yourself that you were nothing of what you lacked, that you were nothing of what limited you, of what was nothing, of what made your history, in this world as in everyone else. Listen, the song of freedom. Listen, the music of silence, this breath of freedom where the word is expressed, where all the forms present on the surface of each world are expressed, in any dimension whatsoever. They were part of the dream, they were part of what you decided to go through. You have nothing to refuse, but above all, you have to accept that you are that. You don't know it, it's because you didn't accept it, you didn't even assume it, you didn't even imagine it. And yet, it was from this imagination and assumption that you danced the dream, that you walked through the dream. So, today, I am telling you this, and I am not telling you alone, because the whole of creation tells you this, because the whole of your lives, whatever the appearances and challenges of the person, are nothing. You're the ineffable beauty, the ineffable truth. You're all of these. Agape sang it to you, and you are agape. Do not put anything in front of you, open your arms, open your wings, to truth, to lightness, to the dance of joy. Let your lips smile, let your eyes sparkle, let your arms embrace, let your wings spread, let all this happen, let all this be. That has always been the case. Eynolwaden tells you, nature tells you, your body tells you, no matter what you think. Forget what is happening, forget what is thought, you're anterior, but you are also posterior to that. Because in the end, as you know, there is no tomorrow, no future, just as there is no past and no memory. All this belongs to the dream. but you're the truth, you are not the dream. You are freedom, and you are no form. And it is in the prison itself, in the prison of this body, this world and this form, that you have found it. I found you and I looked for you, much more than you looked for me and found me. But that was part of the story. It is part of what happened, so I roll out the carpet of joy, I roll out the red carpet of joy, of the perpetual celebration of joy and freedom. Everything is liveness, if you accept it, and it will be known to you, and it will be seen, and it will be perceived, and it will be crossed, with the same intensity, with the same consistency. Yes, I tell you, you who are listening to me, listen to me, I can only talk to you about what is true, I can only talk to you about what can only happen, but also who will happen, about everything that has happened, in order to put an end to the past, so that the present moment may know no future, so that the present moment may contain all the futures and all the pasts, for it is in this way, in zero time, that joy and lightness, joy and freedom, dance the same dance of the obvious, dance the same truth. Are you listening to me and hearing me? I can tell you nothing else. Each word simply reflects what cannot be expressed and what can only be manifested, here, there, wherever you are, there, here, whatever your apparent state, whatever you have been imposed, whatever you have been self-imposed. Joy and freedom are not imposed, they are what you are, evidence, and of all times, and of all truth. Everything was only a pretext to achieve this, everything was only circumstances to get rid of the circumstances. That's right. And that happened. And that is the good news. You have heard it in countless voices, you have heard it in countless ways, and in every possible way, and even in the impossible. Let your heart dance the dance of life, let your heart dance the dance of love. You are nothing but that, and yet it contains everything else, but everything else disappears in front of it. Listen to me. Listen to me. Beyond my words, beyond your perception, beyond your vibration, beyond everything and beyond nothing, you need to be there, because that's where I am. It is your only need, it is the only and ultimate desire that can only reinforce, every moment and every breath, joy and freedom. Decree joy, decree freedom, and joy, is there, it is your power and it is your due. This is your gift and it is given to you. Silence. Do not recover anything, do not think anything, you have nothing more to decide, except to let joy and freedom take you entirely to the heart of your heart of the present instant, to the heart of the eternal instant, to the very heart of your dream, because laughter wakes you up, because laughter makes you see the dream and your nightmares. All this has only a time. Joy and freedom is in all times, and especially in the time of the instant, in the time of the present, which contains all the times, all the conjugations, but also all that could have been dreamed. Everything that has been understood and misunderstood is dissolved in the grace of liveness, in the grace of joy and freedom. Listen to me. Because it's only you who speaks inside me. And wake up. Look at this. Everything you can look at is superfluous. Look at this. Everything has been seen, there is nothing to see, because everything is you, beyond any form, beyond any kingdom, and beyond the apparently separate elements. Thus, the smile and joy, on your lips and in your heart, bring you to white heaven. It is now, it is immediately, it is permanent. And it can never go out, and it can only get stronger, it can only get better, every minute, from the moment you open your arms. Then your wings spread, not to take you elsewhere, up in the sky. You're already heaven, as you are already earth. You're all the heavens and all the earth, and yet none of this concerns you. You have gone through this, you are still going through it at this moment, but joy and freedom have always been there, masked simply by oblivion, masked by habit, masked by suffering, certainly, but all this has allowed you to wake up. Your joy and freedom, whatever your head may say about it, whatever any world may say about it, that of the angels, that of the archangels, as well as that of the imprisonment here on earth, you're all that at once. You don't need to live it, you don't need to remember it, but just to remember that you are the joy and freedom. then decree it, and it is there. So say it, and it will strengthen you. It needs no demonstration other than by your presence, other than by your silence, other than by the dance of your heart. You have nothing to justify, because everything is right. You have nothing to explain, because you are the lived experience. You have nothing to understand, because you have already understood everything. You have simply forgotten it. So, listen to me. I'm inviting you to the dance. Your joy and freedom. You're the freedom of joy and the joy of freedom. Both are equivalent, one lets you to the other and the other lets you to the other, just as everyone lets you to yourself, no matter what the appearance is, no matter what the challenge is, no matter the conflicts, it cannot hold up to joy and freedom. So is grace, so is agape, so is what you are, even before you are within a form, even before you dream, even before the dream ends, because it never existed, it only passed away. Beyond being and non-being, within where you are, in this form, there is totality, yes. All this is held at the same point, all this is held in the center of your chest and radiates in each of your cells, and emanates from you all the time. You don't have to worry about it, you don't have to take care of it, you just have to check it, you just have to accept it, there too. So, listen to me. Stop procrastinating, stop questioning, just be that, forget everything else. Do not turn away from it, but when I tell you to forget it, it simply tells you that you are what covers all this, that you are what transmutes all this, not by a will, not by a job, but by acceptance. Accept that this is evidence, then the evidence will be there. Accept that you are freedom, then freedom is there. Accept the joy, then the joy is there. You have nothing else to do, you have nothing else to do, but simply to embrace yourself. Because I am you as you are me, with more and more firmness, and also freedom. Listen to me and hear what the silence tells you. Listen to me and hear yourself. Listen to yourself and hear me. Silence. And this is lived. And that's something to live for. This is life, from the moment you are no longer your life, but from the moment you are life. Here too, decree it. You don't have to ask, you just have to say it, you just have to decide it. And you can't die anything else, because who could refuse joy and freedom? Whatever the shortcomings of this world, whatever its dreams, whatever its images, whatever the circumstances. There is no condition that can hold, as soon as you have decreed joy and freedom. I'm just repeating the same thing to you, because I don't know how to say anything else, and because everything sends you back to that. Everything was only a pretext, everything was only an arrangement and architecture of what would bring you to that moment. This is the zero time, the time of joy and freedom, the time of truth, of course. I told you, as soon as I came to you, I am the water running in the streamers in your tears, I am the wind that blows and makes the trees rustle, I am also the storm, but all these are just games, all these are just dances. Don't let your senses weigh you down, don't let your worn-out body weigh you down, but simply decree joy, decree freedom. And agape is joy and freedom. Don't look for a match in this world, because that would be disguised. And yet it is known in your world. Where you are standing, I'm standing. Where you let go, I let go. Where you open up, I open up. I can't close anything, I can't restrict anything, I can't eliminate anything, I can just live what I am. Today, you have the same possibilities as what I gave you when I first came, when I first spoke. Read them again, if you will, they are current, they are the present, they are the now and they are the moment that will never stop and that will never pass. Silence. Because in truth, you are both present and absent, and at the same time you cannot be neither present nor absent, because it no longer means anything. And the time that has passed doesn't mean anything anymore. And the time that remains to pass is frozen in joy and freedom, whatever your body says, whatever everyone else says, whatever your world says, in its habits and laws, in its rules and principles. You escape all rules and principles. Freedom is like that. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be measured. It can only be enlightened. It can only develop. It can only appear. Because you have appeared, you're reborn again. This is the resurrection. This is the event. This is freedom. And freedom makes you love, because that's all you can do in freedom. What else do you want to do? What do you have to build that has not already been built? What do you have to destroy that has not already been destroyed? What do you have to imagine that has not already been dreamed? What do you have to understand that has not been understood? What do you hope that has not already been fulfilled? What lack can you express? You have experienced all the shortcomings. What do you have to complete? Because you're already full. You don't have anything to restrain. Be honest, that's the truth. Listen to your heart, simply listen to what it dances, simply listen to what the eternal present tells you. He sings the same dance, he sings the same evidence, whether in silence, whether through music, or through anything, everything brings you back to joy and everything is about freedom. Silence. Tell the truth, even if you don't know it. She knows you. Declare the light, even if you do not live it. She lives you. Listen to me. Listen to me. Because I'm listening to you. I don't need speeches, I don't need explanations, I don't need understanding, I don't need proof. I have nothing to demonstrate that has not already been demonstrated. You just forgot about it. Turn to me as I turn to you. We're in the same place, we're in the same moment, at the same time and in the same space, in the space of your heart, in the zero time of your heart. Silence. And joy and freedom cannot be equated with any joy or freedom of this world. This freedom, it cannot be bought. This freedom, it cannot be told. This joy cannot be justified, it does not need an object, it does not need a subject, it just needs you. You are, yes. Not in this character, even if it is through this character, but simply where I am, in your heart. Silence. So, you live your apotheosis, the coronation, and again, for which crown? The ascent. But you have nothing to climb, you have nothing to surpass. It's still words, it's still concepts, but it ends the story you had to live to get there, where I stand and you stand, where you have nothing to hold and where I don't care. I'm here. I'm there. I'm there, I'm everywhere, I'm nowhere. I don't see any difference. It's just words that try to trap you, it's just words that try to define me. And yet, I use the same words as you, to show you their fatuity and uselessness. You're all music, you're all dances, all elements and all forms. And yet, you're out of shape. And yet, you're in silence, in the midst of all the songs. Silence. So this is much more than a celebration, it is much more than our reunion, it is much more than a celebration, it is much more than anything you have experienced, it is much more than anything you can hope for or expect. You just have to accept that, too. Silence. Whether it's in your bed, in your car, in your house or outside, it doesn't matter. Whether it is with the beloved, or with another you whom you could call enemy, there is no enemy or friend, there is only you. And I who am you, I can tell you this because I live it, because it is and because it will always be. Forget my words, they're just passing through, but don't forget what is. They're in freedom. The freedom of joy and the joy of freedom do not care about any pretensions, do not care about any posture. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to stare at them, it's there. Nothing can catch me, because I've already been caught. Yes, I'm in every heart. Silence. All you have to do is agree. Say yes to freedom, say yes to joy, and even if you say no, it will be yes. You can't refuse, you can't turn away, you can't ignore it. Whatever you say about it today, it's only your head that says it. Your heart agrees with this and cannot be otherwise, and it can only be elsewhere within the eternal present moment. And then life will nourish you, much more than your affections can do, much more than your food can do, much more than any satisfaction whatsoever. Because I never pass, because I can never miss, because I have never failed. So smile. Smile as your wings spread. They are there. Whether you feel them or not doesn't matter. Can you tell me that you feel your organs in your body? No. And yet here they are. And yet, they are working. So it is with joy, so it is with freedom. Silence. Let me take you inside yourself, to the most intimate part of your heart, to the most intimate part of your truth, to the most intimate part of the evidence. So is sharing, so is gift. Silence. This is now, for everyone and for everyone. This is nothing and everything, combined at the same time and at the same instant. Silence. Listen to me and embrace me. You can't do otherwise. For I am in the midst of you and I am in you as I am with you. Where I or you have no more substance than we or you, where there is no distance or time, where everything has been measured and yet cannot be measured. And yet, it's not excessive, it's just your due, be sure. Then the dance of your heart takes its evidence back. Then the dance of your heart cannot be limited or modified by the laws of this world, by the laws of its habits. Silence. Then let the water from above flow into your waters from below, thus fertilizing what has always been near, because nothing can move away from it. Up close, you are, you always have been. Then, the fire of the Sacred Heart translates joy and freedom. Then, the fire of the Sacred Heart is the regained freedom. Then, the fire of the Sacred Heart is the joy that emanates and escapes from you, without ever embracing and without ever being exhausted. Silence. Hear in silence the dance of your heart, the dance of joy and freedom. Did you hear yourself? Did you listen to yourself? Yes. That can't be a no. Even if you say no. Silence. I'm of all colors, of your rainbows, of your trees, of your birds, of your dyes and pigments, of the color of your clothes too, and even within your screens. I'm all wavelengths, because I am the wave itself. I'm all lengths and yet you can't measure me. There's nothing to compare. Declare it here too. And this is seen, because it is lived. Silence. Listen, you're breathing. I'm in your inspiration as in gift expire, as the pause between the two. Silence. I follow all breathing. I am everything that believes before is slaughtered, I am everything that thinks it is circulating, in your blood and in your mind. I am the electric wave that travels through your body. Silence. I am the wave that passes through you. And your wave is precisely what goes through everyone. Silence. I am the flame of the candle you light, like the suns that shine with 1,000 lights, in all universes. I am the sun of your heart. I am, without being. I am, without me. Silence. I am the wave from my heart to your heart and from your heart to my heart. I follow all the movements of your body, and all the yogas of your body. I am all you can list, but also all you can't list. All this is joy, all this is freedom. Silence. I am immobile within each movement, and I am the movement at the heart of each immobility. Because movement and immobility are the same thing, it all depends on where you look. And if you look from your heart, you'll see that there's no difference. Silence. Where there is joy and freedom, no law of any world can hold, no spiritual law is true. You're anterior to the spirit, and yet you are the spirit of truth. Silence. You are the intelligence that cannot be calculated or even compared. Silence. Freedom and joy are not the property of anyone. Because they cannot be entered. Because they cannot be framed or even defined. They can be experienced, beyond all feelings as well as beyond all consciousness. Silence. I am the moment that passes and the moment that never passes. Silence. I can't be put in any cage, or in any word. So I choose to be all the words, because it is not a choice, in truth. Silence. I am in all words verbs, as in all breaths. Silence. I am all the lands of your world, in its deserts and mountains. Silence. And this is the time of the obvious, which is combined with each time. And this is the time of joy, of your heart, of your body, of your movements and of your rest. Silence. I am all the voices. The one of the child crying from hunger, the one of the old man living his last breath. There is no difference except in appearances. It is now, it is all the time. Because it's all the time. Listen. Listen to me. Silence. I am the human being and I am the humus. I am humanity, lost in its dreams as if it were finding the truth. I am Gaia race, planet of the simulacrum and the sacred that meet. I am the planet of the resolution. Don't be alarmed by my crashes. Whether it is from my waters, my lands or my volcanoes, like those in my air. Because that for me is joy. The one who would see suffering there is only suffering himself, he still dreams of suffering, whatever the appearances may be. Only the one who still ignores a gate believes that it is suffering. Because all this, you know, in joy and freedom, has no substance. All these are just pretexts and opportunities. I found you. Listen to me. Silence. I sing the song of the resurrection, the one that resonates in your heart, in heaven and on earth. I'm all homes that have no walls or doors, and do not need you, do not need windows, do not need a place. Silence. And as soon as you pronounce my name, you call me, and then the word/verb of Eynolwaden becomes life, freedom and joy. It's your life and it's your gift, it's what you give. Whatever you think, no argument can resist the joy of freedom and the freedom of joy. No posture can resist this. And that is written in you. And always has been. Silence. I'm all the energies of your body, all the vibrations that run through you and all the fires that set you on fire, in the center as well as in all the peripheries. I'm your skin. Silence. Then everything is complete. Nothing can be missing. Here too, decree it. You're the word/verb. You're the breath. What animates is what is animated. Silence. I am what sets you on fire and is on fire. Silence. Whether you are lying or standing, on the ground or in the air, accompanied or alone, your freedom and joy. That is, you're that, and this, and that, and just as much, neither this nor that. See? See? You can't frame me, you can't find me, because I'm in all the landmarks and all the frames at once, and that's what can't be framed or defined. I'm as infinite as I am indefinite, as in everything that is finite. I am freedom and joy. And when I say I mean only you. Like the stars between them only talk about you. As the worlds between them only talk about you. I am the individual and the general. I am the dots, commas and suspension dots. I follow all punctuation. I am neither chaos, nor disorder, nor order, because all this is only part of the game, and of the dream. No, you're not dreaming anymore, you're awake. And there is freedom, and there is joy. By that, you're from everywhere. In every cry, in every smile, here, in this place, in every place, from one end of this world to the other and from one end of the universes to the other. Because nothing can be separated. And nothing can be divided. Silence. Listen. Listen to yourself. And hear me. There is no need to listen, but rather to listen with your heart. It pulsates in the unison of truth, in the unison of freedom, in the unison of joy. Silence. And we hear together what the silence says. It contains all the melodies and scores. I'm all the colors that have been placed on all the artists' canvases. I'm all the sentences that have been written by your writers and poets, and I am, of course, also ever, like each of you. Silence. Whatever the divisions, they have been nothing more than multiplies of joy and freedom. It is revealed in you. Such is your awakening. Such is your freedom. Silence. Leave everything you die, so that what you hold may leave you in peace. Silence. I'm all the hands that caress, all the hands that open and never close. Listen. Hear me out. The song of freedom and joy. When you listen to me, you're just listening to yourself. It's all there. And that's all. Silence. The truth is, you've never slept. Truly, you are nothing of what happens, you are nothing of what falls asleep and wakes up every night and every morning. Because there is neither morning nor evening, in joy and freedom. Whatever the stars tell you, they only pass through your sky, but you will not pass. Because you passed everything. Silence. Then accept my hand, in your heart. For my hand only caresses you, in order to transmit its warmth and presence to you. I'm also your hand, I'm also your heart, but I am you, Eynolwaden. I'm also the word, that if you dare to sing the rest of your nights, then you will be joy and freedom. I prepared you for that, a few years ago. It is now time to verify and complete it. So, do not hesitate to call me, as you call the creation, and as you call yourself, within this body of dreams. I am part of your last key, the one that puts an end to all locks, all doors, and opens all homes that have no roof, no windows, no ceiling, no floor. Because your dwelling is the universe, because your dwelling is the set of dreams and multiverses, without roles and attributes, without any other functions than to be joy and freedom. Silence. That is what my hand says to your heart. I who am in all hearts, beyond all forms, and I have nothing. Silence. And life breathes you in. And life pulsates you. This is joy and freedom. This freedom that you cannot conceive, that you cannot even hope for, and therefore even less fear. Silence. And even this word of freedom is very little compared to the truth. Silence. So, don't forget to call me by your breath and by your word. I am the key to freedom and joy, which, I repeat, puts an end to any lock. Silence. Hear what I'm saying to you. Many of you have already had the idea of saying my name, or signing my name. They were thirsty for this freedom. And today, you are the word/verb, and you are the one who calls it. Then call me, aloud and intelligible, in the rest of your body. Silence. Then call me what you want. You who thirst for freedom and joy, you cannot fail and you cannot be wrong. All this has been written, and all this is perfect. Eynolwaden. In your language, it means joy of freedom and freedom of joy. Silence. I am the key to your dreams, the key to ending the dream. Silence. There you go. I have given you my name, which is your word/verb and your key, not from your burning, you know that and you may have already lived it, but the one that accompanies the joy and freedom of your name. Silence. So be you. And so be it. And that is. Silence. Eynolwaden. In chorus, Eynolwaden. Eynolwaden. In chorus, Eynolwaden. Eynolwaden. In chorus, Eynolwaden. May peace, joy and freedom be your truth. Through Jean-Luc Young. Les Transformations. English translation, LMF.